guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Mercy. I am a BSN RN, and on this channel we talk about nursing, lifestyle, beauty, vlogs, and a whole bunch of stuff. So if you're new to my channel, I'd like to say welcome. I'd like to ask you to please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can join my family. And for my old subscribers, I'd like to say welcome back. Today is kind of an exciting and also a sad day for me because I am warming up to return to work. So today's video is going to be about basically me packing my bag and getting prepared for work. Let me just explain a little bit how home health works. So as a home health nurse, you get a patient assignment. So it can be visits where you only go for 1 hour to see the patient and provide whatever nursing care is needed, or it can be shift. In my case, this first position is going to be shift. So the shift can last anywhere from 3 hours all the way up to 12 hours. My shift is going to be 8 hours and it's going to be night shift. So I go in at night and I take over. With home health nursing, you usually only have one patient. In my case as well, this is going to be one patient. So I show up at night and I take over for the whole night. It's just one-on-one care. It's usually called private duty nursing. So if there's anything needed for the patient that is within your job description, you are going to be the one providing those services. So as I said, you can either do a visit, which is 1 hour. You spend 1 hour with a patient, do everything that needs to be done, assessment, medication administration, wound dressing, whatever it is specific to that patient. You're going to be the one providing that. After that hour, you can go home or you go to another patient. As I said before, home health is very flexible. You can choose to do all your visits in 1 or 2 days. You can do as many hours as you want doing those visits. I've seen people do up to 16 hours in 1 day. You just start in the morning, you go from patient to patient to patient and do your 1 hour visits and you're done for the day. But for shift work, the shift is usually set kind of like a hospital where you have to show up at a certain time and leave at a certain time. But the only difference is that with home health, it's private duty and it's only you and the patient. The rest of the family are going to be in the home, of course, but it's just you taking care of that patient. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Now this video is geared towards my home health position, but this video also applies for hospital positions for those of you who are new nurses out there, or for those of you who have been nurses for a while and you just need some inspiration on what to have in your hospital bag. So today we're going to be packing my nursing bag and I'm going to be showing you all the important things that you need in your bag in order to be a successful nurse. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Okay, first thing first, I'm going to show you my bag. If you guys follow me on social media, you've probably already seen this bag before, but this is a leather bag. I love this bag because not only is it big, it's very strong and it's all leather and it has a lot of different compartments in it, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So right off the bat, in the back, it has a zipper. This comes in handy for me because this is where I always put my keys. When you have a bag, especially when it's a big bag, when you throw your keys in it, it takes forever to find it. Especially for me, I always forget where I put my keys and I have to basically empty out everything just to find my key. So I love this bag because it has this little compartment here in the back where I can put my keys, so I don't have to look for it so much. I got this bag as a gift when I started my home health position a while back, and the person said they got it from Mercyg. So it has the little hook thing where if you want to make it like a shoulder bag, you can do that. This is what these hooks are for, but I never use it for it because the handle is big enough and I can put it on my shoulder like that. So I just went ahead and put the other strap away. So this is my bag and I will be showing you everything that's going to go in this bag. So first thing first, as a home health nurse, you need a folder. So the folder is going to consist of many things. The folder is going to consist of your nurse's note. This is where you write all your assessment, all your medication administration, and the patient's name and the patient's signature. So for that, I have this handy dandy folder right here. This is a simple folder. I got this from Walmart. It's just a regular folder. It has these little clip things that you can punch holes in your papers to put it in, but I don't do that just because you have to turn these papers in and it doesn't look good when it has holes in them. If the office wants to put holes in it, they can go ahead and do it. So you need a folder and you need several different pieces of papers. So you need something called a timesheet. So on this timesheet, you have to write the date, the patient's name, your time in and your time out, which means the time you started and the time your shift ends. And then you also have to have the family member sign it to confirm that you were there for those times. So that is going to be your timesheet. Your nurse's note is a piece of paper, which I have all of those here, but I don't want to show you because it has sensitive information on it. The nurse's note is going to be a pre-made note by the agency for you to fill out. And this note can vary from agency to agency, but it is a pre-made note that basically has a head-to-toe assessment on it. So you just go in and fill it out. So at one spot it might say respiration. You go ahead and write the patient's respiration. And then there's a spot for blood pressure. There's a spot for how the patient is breathing. There's a spot for if the patient has wounds. You have to fill out all the parameters that applies to that patient. And then on the back of that note, there is a narrative portion. You have to narrate everything that happened. So you can say 6 a.m. nurse walks in on patient, patient's eyes closed, patient sleeping, or patient asking for this and that. With a shift work like I'm going to do, we usually go hour by hour what happens, and it doesn't have to be anything extensive, just anything that happens during that time. So let's say my shift starts at 11 p.m. I would say 11 p.m. nurse comes in, blah 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 blah, and then 12 a.m. whatever happens, 1 a.m. whatever happens. So something like that. So you start from the time you start till the end of your shift, you write down in the note. So I have that here in my folder. So how many papers you need depends on your agency. Some agencies have computer charting and some agencies still have paper charting. For this specific agency, they still have paper charting. I keep saying agencies because for my home health positions, I go through agencies, which is normally how it is. So the agency has the patient, you get hired on, and then you get paid through the agency to take care of that patient. So I have everything that I need paper-wise for that patient in this folder. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my bag like so. So to me, that is one of the most important items, but everything that's going to go in this bag is important. So the next thing you need, and this is not in any specific order, these are just things you're going to need, so I'm just going to grab things as I go. So the next thing that I think is important as a home health nurse is your badge. You want to have your badge and you want to have it say whatever position you hold. So if it's LPN, RN, STNA, whatever it is, you want to have a badge that has your picture, your credentials, and it also has your company information on there, so that first of all, you look very, very professional, and secondly, you don't look like a random person that just walked off the street and walked in these people's house to take care of their family member. So the badge serves many different purposes. So the badge says you're RN, LPN, whatever. It also says that you are a healthcare professional, and it also has your picture and your company information on it. So you always need to have a badge. It just makes you look so much more professional. My key and my badge both goes in here, because those two things I can always grab and it's easy to grab. Another thing you need is your stethoscope. You need a stethoscope to be able to properly assess your patient. Your stethoscope is also like your uniform. Whenever I go to work, if I forget my stethoscope, or for some reason if I take off my stethoscope, I feel naked without it, because when you assess a patient, this is very important. It is important for many different reasons. So I always have a pair of stethoscope in my back or already on my neck. So I'm going to put that in here. So then with your stethoscope, I have a little bag here. This bag I got from MAC. It can be any bag. I think I purchased a certain amount of makeup at MAC, so I qualified to get a bag. So I have a few of these actually. These I just use to help me organize my stuff. So in this bag I have a few things. So I'm going to open the bag and show you what I have in here. As a home health nurse, you don't always have a vital card, and a vital card is a card that has a whole bunch of stuff for vital signs. So because of that, you usually have to have all your own equipment. A lot of patients already have all their supplies at their homes, but not all patients do. So you always have to have these kind of things handy. So in here, the first thing I have is a blood pressure cuff. This is one of the ones you put on the wrist to assess the patient's blood pressure. I also have the manual one, but I have to find it. But just in case, I always have this blood pressure cuff. All you literally do is you put it on the patient's wrist. This part goes in, you press the button and have the patient place it on their heart, or if they're sitting up, always have it at their heart level. That is going to give you the most accurate reading. Before I forget, as a home health nurse and as a hospital nurse, you always want to clean your equipment between use. You don't want to leave your equipment dirty because you are just transmitting germs. Always have a cleaning tool like an alcohol wipe or a bleach wipe to clean. So I usually use a bleach wipe to clean my larger equipment and an alcohol wipe to clean stuff like my stethoscope. So with that, I just want to show you a bag. I have this bag. It's usually filled with alcohol wipes, and I'll show you guys. It has lots and lots of alcohol wipes in here, and I usually just keep it and clean my equipment whenever I use them. For my stethoscope or thermometers and stuff, I use the alcohol wipe, and for the blood pressure cuff and other bigger, larger equipment, I use a bleach wipe or some kind of disinfectant wipes. So back to this bag. So I have my blood pressure cuff, and then the second thing I have is a thermometer. I have two thermometers. This is a pediatric thermometer. You literally just put it on the patient's head like that and press the button, and it tells you whether it's low or high or if they have a fever. I also have an adult thermometer, and I use that for my adult patients.
Your body temperature is 97.9 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, so that's my body temperature. It's super easy to use. I actually got this from Amazon. I'll try to link the stuff down below, and if I remember to, I'll try to link these things down below and tell you how I got them. But I'm going to tell you throughout the video, just in case I forget to tell you where I got them from. So the blood pressure cuff I actually got from Kroger. I think it was about $45. This I got from Amazon, and I think it was $29 at the time when I got it. And then going in that line, the third thing I want to show you guys is this pulse ox. So you always need to check your patient's pulses and their oxygen saturation. So I also got this from Amazon. I think it was $20 at the time when I got it. Again, when you use equipment like this, you always want to clean them with a alcohol wipe or some kind of disinfectant wipe. So the next thing I have in here is a whole bunch of pen. As a nurse, you're always going to be short on pen. I don't care if you fill this thing up with pen. By the end of the week, they all go missing. So nurses are always fighting for pens. So I always try to have at least 5 or 6 pen at a time, just because I don't want to miss out on writing important things down. And then in here, I usually have a highlighter to highlight important things. If I need to educate the family member about something, I can highlight the important points on the handout and give it to them. And I also usually have a marker. At the hospital, nurses are usually required to write their names down on the board, so I have that. And then I have a whole bunch of pen, but this pen in particular, this is my favorite pen because it has different colors. So this one has green, black, red, and blue. So it has 4 different colors. This is important because you can color code all your notes to help you remember stuff. So for example, if it's something that needs attention right away, I usually write it in red. If it's something that I need to remember, I usually write it in green. If it's something that is nursing related, because as you know, when you write your nurse's note on the piece of paper, it has to be in black ink. So I usually use my black ink, and then you just go from there. You choose whatever color that works for you. But usually nurses' notes need to be filled out in black ink. And then I also have a charger head here for my phone charger, because as a home health nurse, you always need your phone. Your phone is very important. So it always has to be fully charged, just in case you need it, especially when you work home health. When you go do visits, if you go into a sketchy neighborhood and you need to call the agency or you need to call 911, you need your phone. When you go to the patient's home, if there's an emergency and you need to call the family member, or you need to call 911, or you need to call the squad, you always need to have your phone and make sure it's fully charged. So I always have my phone and I have a charger. The next thing on the list is gloves. I always have a box of gloves, or just some gloves in a Ziploc bag. Again, if you're lucky, your patient has all their supplies and the agency supplies all the stuff you need. But just in case, if you have to do any kind of like dressing change or diaper change or anything like that, if there's no gloves, it's on you. So I always have a pack of gloves just in case I need them. So with my gloves, I've already showed you my alcohol pads. You need your alcohol pads to clean things down, or to clean IVs, or to clean, you know, different things. I also have some hand sanitizer. I usually have this big hand sanitizer in my bag, and I also have some little scented ones. So we're still in this bag. In this bag, I usually have a pack of batteries. So the reason I have a pack of batteries is because a lot of my equipment are battery operated. So my pulse ox is battery operated and is usually AAA. So if the battery is low, I usually just change it out right there. And then this blood pressure cuff is also battery operated. So if it's low on battery, I can just switch it up real quick. And then my thermometer also is battery operated. So as you can see, I need a lot of batteries. So I always have some batteries handy. I usually keep it in the pack or put it in something that's going to separate it from the rest of my stuff, because batteries can be poisonous. So be careful how you put your batteries amongst your stuff. So with that, you also need a watch. Doesn't have to be a fancy watch like this one. This is the Apple Watch, but you don't really necessarily need a fancy watch like this. You just need a regular watch. The reason you need a watch is you have to be able to record the time you get to a patient's house, the time you leave the patient's house, if it's in the middle of the night or in the middle of the shift, if you need to record certain events and you need to write down the specific time, if you need to do respiration. You just need a watch, so you have to have a watch. So with all those important things, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but if I am, I'll try to leave them down below. But these are the things that I've packed up so far. As I told you, I have 2 of these. This is a bag of my alcohol wipes, and this is a bag of all the stuff I just showed you, my vital equipment basically. So I'm gonna put them in here, put them in my bag. I told you guys this bag is pretty big. It fits almost everything that I need. Next, I'm going to move on to snacks. So when you work in home health, or even when you work at a hospital, you always need something to fuel you up when you are on the go. So I usually have a Ziploc bag with some snacks in here. You want to do healthy snacks, but who are we kidding? When you need to be up at night, this is where a lot of nurses have unhealthy habits, because sometimes a lot of us just grab for sugar. Anything sugary that is going to keep us hyper and keep us going. But I usually try to pick healthier options. So one snack that I really love is Cheez-Its. So I have a bag of Cheez-Its in here. And then I also like Nature Valley. So I have a lot of different Nature Valley snacks in here. This is the chocolate crunch bar. And then I have the oatmeal raisin, and then I have a crunchy peanut butter bar as well. I always keep them in a bag because I don't want my food touching all my working equipment, so it just keeps it clean and safe. So I go ahead and put it in here. See, our bag is getting full, but it still has a lot of space in there. And then this is a water bottle. It can be for coffee, it can be for regular water, it can be for tea, juice, whatever. But you need something to drink because you're going to be at work and you're going to get thirsty. And you don't always want to ask your client if you can have a bottle of water, or if you can have some snacks, or all of that. Not only is it inconvenient for the client, but it's also kind of rude in my opinion. And it's also against a lot of policy to accept gifts from your patients. So I'm gonna put that in my bag as well. Usually if it's filled up with liquid, I don't put it in my bag because I don't trust myself. Knowing me, there's a good chance I will knock it over and ruin everything in my bag. So I usually don't put it in the bag itself. I usually hold it in my hand, but since it's empty for now, I'm gonna put that in there. So one more thing you need is a notepad. You need a notepad to be able to write a lot of stuff down. So whether it's something you need to remember, whether it's an idea that comes to your mind. For me, I'm a night person. I get all my ideas at night. So I always like to have a notepad around me so that when something comes to mind, I guess you can do it on your phone, but I like to do it manually just because it works better for me that way. And I always have my notepad to go through. Let's say if my phone is dead or whatever, I can always refer to this. Just in case you're working for another company that requires you to chart online, sometimes they'll either offer you a computer or you can take your own computer in if it is allowed by your company. So then I always have my computer here. You guys know I love pink. Everything has to be pink. I have my computer here, and if I need it, I can take it with me, and it fits in this bag perfectly. So there it is. So I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but that is what I have for my nursing bag. I love to work. I don't like to just sit around and be idle. I like to have something going on. I'm a kind of person that likes to move. I don't like to sit around. That's the good thing about being a nurse. You can choose to work however many hours you want to work, or you can do the standard 3 days where you have 4 days off to be with your family and your kids or whoever, and then you only work 3 days. So I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful that I'm going back to a family that I already know, so that way I'm not worried about learning a new job or being in a new environment and then being worried about not being with the baby. So I'm grateful for all of that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any requests for similar videos like this or anything about my job, I'll also do another video when I return to the hospital, if I do return to the hospital. But yeah, if you have any comments or anything like that, please leave them down below. Please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of my video. And if you haven't subscribed to the vlog channel, go ahead and subscribe to that as well. And if you like the video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It lets me know that I'm doing something right. Thank you guys again so much for always being there and always supporting me. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one.